Women of Reddit, what was your best / most exciting sexual experience? Best, with a BF on shrooms. Most exciting, threesome with a B person. It up once on shrooms, and it was amazing. Fully felt every response to each touch and movement from my partner during the foreplay and the sexy time, and it was incredible. Shrooms heighten your senses so much that it makes it so much easier to sense what is making the partner feel great. Or, that sounds like it could be really romantic. My former boss and his wife are polyamorous. 14-year marriage. At some point they invited me to drinks and get to know me. It is a unique moment being penetrated while receiving oral. Best orgasm of my life. Oh, almost 2 years later, and I'm still with them and still great. 2 years going is amazing. Congratulations. May you all have a long and happy life together. They had another girl before me and lasted something like 10 years. So I think I'm gonna stay here for a long time. That takes a lot of hard work and communication. I'm really impressed. Making it 6 months is tough. I learned a long time ago that some people just really like drama. I just avoid this type of people. Used to be alone for some long periods, but when someone appears, it's just way better. I recently ended a 1.5 year long hookup with this cop I met through my job. It was so exciting, because from the very beginning there was never any awkwardness between us or anything. We were just totally comfortable from the start, and it was so fucking hot. And OMG eye contact through the whole goddamn thing, every time. I still don't think anything could top the first time we got together when he came to see me before he had to go to work, so was in full uniform, and the second he was in the door he had me up against the wall, kissing me. Taking his uniform off was so hot because I was wearing a flimsy tank top and he was able to fondle me while I was forced to unhook all this to get at him. The anticipation was insane. Wow, I'm a straight guy and I think I actually understand the man in uniform fetish after reading that. I'm highlighting the passion and storytelling she communicated in her post. I don't need an education on gender roles or female attraction. Boy, do I have some news for you. Would you like to have a seat? I would. What's the news? Women wear uniforms too. There you go. Secret is out. Oh yeah man. I think girls in cop uniforms are also really nice. The first time I had sex with someone who was involved in kink. She was my first hookup after my breakup with my fiance, and she had, as I later found out, had a crush on me for some time and was happy to see me post on the hookup app we had in college. I had been interested in some kink for a while, but with my ex-fiance it had never panned out. Neither of us really knew what the hell we were doing, and we gave up after an awkward incident involving ropes. Now, jump forward to this hookup. She was just excited to have someone she could trust to guide, so she, a sub, played her part very well and enabled me to be her dom for a few sessions while I learned the ropes. LD. That said, this did open me up to the fact that I am, in fact, a sub, but the thrill of the dynamic, the experimentation and learning involved, and the general roleplay of everything made the whole short-lived FWB situation absolutely mind-blowing. Teach me. If I could, I would. Sadly, I'm still learning myself. Oof. One of my long-term girlfriends was a only she wasn't aware until our relationship. The first time it happened she was mortified. Admittedly, I was quite entertained. Eventually she got more warmed up to the experience. After it happening several times, during our sex she would have multiple orgasms. When it got to the point where she would her orgasms would leave her physically shaking, and she would writhe with pleasure and overstimulation for the next 15 minutes or so. Good times. Teach me. I think each person has their thing that really gets them off and pushes them to that point. For women who can it. For her it was burying my face in her ass like a dog does a bone in the yard while rubbing her G-spot as she laid on her stomach. She called it her favorite thing. So she can only gush with help from a partner? Indeed. I like to think I have magic touch. Time will tell, I suppose. Guy I had met on Gone Wild Audio opened my eyes up to the fact that I was a full-blown humiliation/degradation kink sub and wasted no time proving himself to be an amazing dom with an incredible intelligence for finding all of my weakness and insecurities and making that part of our play, but always bringing me back up and doing appropriate aftercare. We met in person a couple of times, and he drove me into an absolute rabid frenzy. Never met anyone else who could touch me like that, or do the things he did or say the things he said off the cuff. I still have a deep set attraction to him. He didn't have the traditional looks that most people seem biologically drawn to, and I'll be honest, that he wasn't the largest of my partners, but I'd do anything for him. He literally became my living god. It was that intense for me. Why don't you go find him? Gods are rarely as interesting when you visit them frequently. Better to wait for the equinox and let it remain magical. Yeah, keep it special, but don't give it up. I'm sure it sounds pretty standard to the random observer, but the best sex I ever had was on a regular night with my boyfriend after getting a little high. I'm a sexual assault survivor and have a hard time letting go enough to really enjoy myself during sex, and I've found cannabis to be very helpful in both restoring my libido and increasing pleasure. On this particular night I was feeling uncharacteristically confident. I rode my boyfriend until he came inside me. He had my consent to do so, of course. I'm super into that. And then he had me lie down with my eyes closed while he played with me with the riding crop. After about 20 minutes of teasing, he fingered me to orgasm. It was so intense that I could barely move or speak for about 10 minutes. He has magic fingers. I'm glad you were able to let go. I know that can be a hard thing to let go of or get past. And it's also good that he took to appropriate steps in making sure you were comfortable. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll have been together for 2 years. He has single-handedly restored my faith in both men and humanity. He's the best. I'm so happy you two are still together. That warms my heart, and I'm very happy for the both of you. And I'm glad he restored your faith in both. We need more people like him, and you as well. Congratulations, and best wishes to both of you for many years to come. The guy I'm seeing now is amazing in bed. I've been with a few guys before and sex was, well, this guy now is a drummer, so he has stamina, strength, rhythm and dexterity. He's also the warmest and most genuinely caring guys I've ever met. He just seems to understand my very soul. He takes as much time as he needs, and gave me the most mind-blowing orgasm I've ever had, toy and vibrators included, last week with just his hands. We are just FWB right now. I have my life goals sorted out, and I'm working towards them. He's still figuring it out, but it's rough. He's honestly my best friend and I would much rather lose the sex than his friendship, but I'm also, well, I'm madly in love with him. I can't tell him yet, because I want him to decide his life goals for himself without any pressure from me. But, if I was religious, I'd be praying a dozen times a day for things to work out between us. I reckon give it a few more weeks, and if everything is still smooth sailing, maybe just ask him on a date to suggest that you're interested in something serious. Happy for you both though. There's a bit more to it, but the details are maybe a little too personal and even just complicated for Reddit. But the short simple version is that he's still trying to figure out who and what he is, and I don't want to pressure him. Instead, I'm encouraging him to do things which will help him figure it out. Travel, college, etc. Still, thanks for the well wishes. The first time I had sex with my now ex-fiancé. It's not an exciting story, it's just that the previous boyfriend, to whom I'd given my virginity, was absolutely horrible to me. I was scared of him, which led to being tense, and when we did have sex he didn't really care if he was hurting me or not. So when me and ex-fiancé first did it, I was like, wow. I don't know what Redacted was doing, but it was not this. Man, I guess being named Redacted in italics and no capital letter probably made him get bullied a lot. That might explain why he was an asshole. Or he was just an asshole. Jesus, you people have no sense of humor. If we did, we would have real friends and not be on Reddit. Alas, here we are. I'm the kind of person who only hooks up with people I've hooked up with before, cause I'm too shy to meet new people. I never had a one night stand before. I have nothing against them, but I've always been kind of prude. I had just gotten out of a LTR spanning nearly 7 years and I downloaded Tinder. I matched with someone nearly 22 years older than me, and he invited me out for drinks that same night. I decided to be very brave and just went for it, and I'm so glad I did. He ended up actually being this beautiful, silver fox humanitarian lawyer who just flew back stateside. He kept complimenting how beautiful and witty I was, which I really needed considering my self-esteem was completely in the gutter at this point. We met up in Midtown, and after a few drinks he asked if I wanted to see the view from his apartment. Internally, I said fuck it, and walked 2 blocks away to his skyrise apartment which overlooked New York City, and was so pretentious it even had its own equinox in it. The view was lovely, but the sex was even better. I felt so attractive at that point and I hadn't felt that way in such a long time. We exchanged numbers. He reached out to do it all again, but I was happy with my standalone experience that helped me get my mojo back. Interesting from how an outside standpoint, this story is literally just the stereotypical creepy middle-aged dude goes hunting for vulnerable low self-esteem women significantly younger than them and convinces them to have sex by excessively flattering them. If that worked, Redditors would be getting laid like rock stars.